For those who don't know, Remnant II is a beautiful Souls-like looter-shooter multiplayer RPG. Some of the world zones and boss designs are just so breathtaking, it's easy to forget this game is actually pretty hard. It comes with difficulty settings so you can choose. It's not your typical Souls-like one difficulty only kind of game. If you do find it too challenging, you can just crank it down a bit. But of course, we decided to play a Nightmare with our first playthrough, which is actually a difficulty designed to be played once you've beaten the game and actually have some gear. But before we jump in, there's a few things to go over first in terms of game mechanics. Remnant has classes, or what the game calls archetypes, and at the beginning there are 4 to choose from, which is a little bit ironic considering it's a 3-person game. Each class comes with 3 skills, which are unlocked at level 0, 5, and 10 respectively. The first class available is Medic, which is pretty self-explanatory. It heals. The first skill it gets is a skill called Wellspring, which creates a 3-meter healing AoE for 15 seconds. The second skill is Healing Shield. This creates a shield for 100% of the player's max HP and applies a regen for 10 seconds. And the final skill is called Redemption, a 30-meter heal that restores 52.5% of max health over 10 seconds and revives down players but gives them 50% less healing. The next class is Hunter. Hunter is a class originally from Remnant from the Ashes and is a long-range damage dealer focused on exploiting weak spot damage. The first skill it gets is Hunter's Mark. This provides a mark debuff on enemies and grants a 15% ranged and melee buff to the caster. The mark debuff gives an increased crit chance of 15% to all allies. The second skill is Hunter's Focus. Aiming down sights without shooting for 1 second grants a focus buff which helps with weapon handling and gives a 25% ranged damage buff and 10% crit chance. And the final skill is Hunter's Shroud. The Hunter becomes shrouded, reducing enemy awareness and increases evasiveness. When exiting Shroud, it applies Mark to all enemies in 10 meters and grants Ambush for 2 seconds. Ambush increases ranged and melee damage by 50%, which diminishes over its duration, and ranged and melee attacks apply Mark debuff. The next class is Handler, a companion class that brings a dog, specializes in support, utility, and buffs. The first skill is Guard Dog, which reduces damage by 15% to allies within 20 meters, and the dog generates additional threat for 20 seconds. The next skill is Support Dog. This grants 2% max health per second and 25% increased movement speed for 25 seconds. And the final one is Attack Dog. This increases damage by 20% for all allies within 20 meters and lasts for 20 seconds. The final class is Challenger, but we didn't pick this, so honestly, who cares? The first pick was Hunter, since the guy playing it played it originally in Remnant 1 too. The second pick was Medic, because who doesn't want a heal slot to keep you alive in combat? And the final pick came down to me, the main character. I didn't really want to stack classes, and as cool as Challengers seemed to me, I was more interested in the utility from Handler. Considering we decided to play on Nightmare, I felt like class composition was a little bit more important. So in the end, we ended up playing Hunter, Medic, and Handler for the combined buffing and healing support provided by these 3 classes. Is there a story in Remnant 2? Yes, there is. Do I know it? No, but I will try my best. Remnant 2 is the sequel to Remnant 1, where Earth and every other world out there is under attack by something known as the Root. The Root were brought to Earth due to a failed series of experiments using the human subconscious as gateways to other worlds. The Root themselves are linked to one of their subjects, known as the Dreamers. In Remnant 1, we kill the Dreamer and sever the Root from the Earth, thus saving the planet, but no other planet. In the DLCs following, we learn that Harsgard is the entity with the connection to the Earth, and use Subject 2923 to eradicate Harsgard and the Root once and for all. Or so we thought. Now while that's out of the way, we can actually jump into what happened. In the aftermath of the Root's reign of terror, the inhabitants of Ward 13 have finally emerged from its fortified walls, and life has returned to the once barren wasteland. Here, amidst the abandoned industrial structures, the survivors have created a sanctuary of safety and hope under the guide of founder Ford. Yet despite the passage of 2 decades, the town still echoes with the memories of the Dreamer Project and the enigmatic World Stone. Locked away in the depths of the old bunker, the legendary artifact remains shrouded in mystery, its secrets known only to a selected few who still remember the tales of its incredible power. Upon awakening the World Stone in Ward 13 by Founder Ford's hand, Clementine is quickly absorbed by the stone, and so begins our adventure to save her and unravel the mysteries of these worlds. The first world we got was Le Somme, a world filled with chaos and confusion. The amalgamation of the Dren and the Fey worlds has created an imbalance within the minds of their people. The Fey have become plagued with an insatiable thirst for the life force of the Dren, causing the Dren to lose their humanity. In this campaign role, we got the Asylum storyline. A quick note on the way Remnant worlds work: there are 3 main worlds in Remnant II, and you have 2 possible starting points within each of them, which dictates the story of the world and what the final boss is going to be. Someone else's playthrough could be entirely different to what we experienced in this playthrough. You've probably heard, seen, or read that Remnant 2 has some performance issues. I can safely say that in this playthrough, we did not experience any.
My little thing's still spinning, mate. I'm in the game.
Yeah, mine's spinning as well. It's Scarlet, man. His has definitely stopped.
No!
And he just hasn't
Scarlet's game's not
realized.
even open right now. He doesn't even know.
No, it's still
He's in
moving.
VR
I'm
chat.
waiting. I wish.
I want like my fans to calm down a little bit. So maybe it is me that's crashed.
I'm still getting FPS changes, so
So am I.
Scarlet.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah,
50 to 50, 51.
Fuck, man.
50.
I'm at 56.
I'm at 100.
Ah, you crashed.
I haven't crashed.
You
Fuck
fucking
off. Your PC's just suck, man. What do you mean?
That is just fucked.
I've just crashed.
Yeah, you have.
He really wants me, huh? Okay.
Crashes and performance issues aside, we're not here to be amazed by the in-depth world designs and intricate lore of Remnant II, although it is impressive. We're here to kill the bosses, and we just encountered our first fog gate. The first boss we got, if you can really call her that, was Gwendol the Unburnt, who was really more of a mini-boss, not even worthy of the fog gate. An underwhelming, hold-your-hand kind of boss that we made pretty quick work of, but I think Scarlet did actually die towards the end. So, next up, we encountered our first puzzle of sorts. This one was actually pretty difficult because of all the bits and pieces going on in this zone. First up, we had this weird looking Resident Evil style spiderweb that we could use items on, but nothing to use on it. We tried burning it with fire to see if it was some kind of bait to no avail, but we're gonna have to come back to this later. Next, we had a safe in a room upstairs with no apparent combination to it. Again, something we're gonna have to come back to later. Throughout the mansion, you find these stone carved dolls, and when finding the second one, we also summoned our second boss, who came with the oh so fun Vortex modifier. I'll touch on modifiers a little more later, but again, we made pretty quick work of him. The final part to this puzzle is the crazy lady locked in a room downstairs who talks nothing but spooky stories, and for some reason wants these stone carved dolls. We give her the doll and nothing. She wants more. So we gotta come back later. Again, we find our way upstairs and get a stone carved doll from one of the enemies. We also find a very holy looking door, but considering we got another doll, we go back downstairs to feed it to the crazy lady. After giving her 3, she retails a story including a rhyme with 4 numbers. The safe combination.
Is it gonna be a killer?
It's gonna be a curse, man. Cursed ring that we can't unequip.
Oh! It's singing the numbers!
2971.
2971. Okay.
We throw the number into the safe and get a very poggers shotgun handgun. We go back upstairs and head through the next door. The spider web must wait. The door leads us to a place known as Namue's Retreat. Namue is a goddess of the Fae and an interesting NPC because depending on the player choices and story path, she offers different dialect and personalities towards the player during the encounter. She will either be passive or hostile, defy the player or give them rewards, or even sell to them, acting as a merchant. Thanks to the lack of walls in this area, I'd fall off and die, but we encounter a passive Namue. Next we encounter our second puzzle of the game. This time we are surrounded by clocks with a note saying, check the house clock, but know that old bird won't just open for anyone. Look to the tower, girl, you'll know what to do. Oh, so we have to go find a tower? I guess it has a clock on it somewhere.
I see a clock here. What do we have to do with the clock?
It says
We need to set the
11
timer.
past 10.
Past 10.
All the clocks say
This
So
one
the
is.
same.
This one is 708 or some shit.
wait, what?
What does the note say? I can't read the note.
That's
mate.
wrong, bro. That can't be correct. It's because it's 10 past the hour, but it's saying 10 too, so that's wrong. So
Wait, I found the
try,
clock.
yeah,
Wait.
try like 13 past 7.
This one is.
Alright, go on then, Scarlet, you do it.
This one's 20 to 5.
I swear to God, if you've just watched a fucking video,
No,
I'm gonna be
of
so
course
mad.
not.
After trying a bunch of combinations from clocks within the house and failing, we decide there must be a tower in one of the zones nearby, and after a little searching, we find it. You need a scope to read the time, but we get the time, we head back to the house to punch the time into the clock and get our reward.
Aye.
Hey! After solving the puzzle, we come across a tower that we've not seen before, with a lift inside that doesn't work. Yet another puzzle for us to solve. It's a pretty straightforward jumping puzzle, but unfortunately here, I just straight up roll to my death and watch my friends solve it. Thankfully we did the clock puzzle before, so we already had everything that we needed to solve it. Next we encounter the dungeon Tiller's Rest, a Dran underground sewer system settlement, where navigation is achieved by releasing locked doors to advance deeper into the dungeon.
There's a safe in it.
9503, there you go.
I think that's bait. I reckon there's 4 of these across the map, and the ones that are lit up are the right numbers.
Oh,
You see
yeah,
other
yeah.
numbers.
On the walls, up above. 8 is written up.
Last
I
number
literally
is
can't
1.
see it.
Last number is 1.
581.
What's the first one?
At this point, we had looked and looked and looked and looked, but we couldn't find the first number, and decided that we were going to brute force it, since it could only be a single digit between 0 and 9. So at its worst, it could only take 10 attempts.
Ah, boom.
Did it!
What do we get?
That's my loot, mate. Fuck off.
After cracking the safe, we proceeded further into the dungeon, where a soul someone picked up was returned, and in exchange gives us an amulet. We eventually end up in the Gilded Chambers and unknowingly approach our first major wall in this playthrough, the Red Prince, who is ironically an optional boss. The Red Prince is a powerful fae that inhabits Lasson. When visited, he demands payment, and if not, you have no choice but to fight him. We of course had no form of payment, so we couldn't offer tribute to him, and we were forced to fight him to proceed.
Actually, can I serve? I want to serve.
You ready for this, boys? Holy,
First.
What's that?
what is this?
I don't know, but hide?
I don't think there is.
Oh, it's a get in the middle, yeah.
Oh, in the middle.
Yeah.
Aye, aye, aye.
Any eels?
I don't have. Okay. I have one.
Oh, get in mid.
Fuck.
Heal. Jeez. We have to fight him in the middle there?
Oh!
Mate, that's nuts. What the fuck? We tried and tried and tried and tried again for hours and hours and hours, but we could not best him. The curse debuff puts us all into permanent one-shot HP, and it was uncleansable. Our damage was too bad, we were having ammunition issues. It wasn't looking good. Perhaps he was just too difficult for us. Maybe the Red Prince was just too strong. Unbeatable. No. We were missing something. We had to group up and gather our strength, retrace our steps, think. Was our gear upgraded enough? Could we have better relic equips? Were our skills synergized? Our mods optimal? Something was missing, and we needed to find it. We head back to base with our vigor renewed and see what we can do in terms of gear, relics, mods, armor. We roam through La Somme again, searching for any unexplored dungeons and items, fighting another mini-boss on the journey, earning experience and materials the whole way, and then eventually, we find it. The thing that was missing. Do you remember Namwe? Namwe can become a merchant selling things to players depending on the storyline and actions by the player. And for us, there it was. In Namwe's shop. A ring. A single ring that was about to make the Red Prince face our wrath. Is he one thing? It's not the point. Oh, Scarlet!
What?
Get rid of that fucking freeze! Kill it! I have no ammo. It was literally get the ring.
Yes.
And just like that, as if his legacy never existed, with the assistance of our curse-fending ring, the Red Prince was vanquished to the depths of the underworld. We had overcome our first war, but certainly not our last. After besting the Red Prince, we advanced further through La Somme until we came across Postulant's Parlour, where we were invited to play a game of Royal Noughts and Crosses. I played the first round and, well, lost. Wanker! And I played the second round, and again, lost. But finally, on the third game, the NPC simply threw, and we were able to secure victory and obtain the bow. After returning to the Gilded Chambers, where our first legendary battle took place, we advanced through a newly unlocked door and encountered the Nightweaver.
Whoa! Oh, whoa!
Oh, okay.
Who was feasting on a soul. She screams and runs away, leaving the soul key tribute on the floor for us to pick up. We return to the unfinished spiderweb and put in the soul key tribute, which turns it into a teleportal. At last, we are able to close the final door on puzzles within La Somme, and we are able to advance. We teleport straight into the Upside Down at a Stranger Things, and we are instantly met with another fog gate. Oh. I mean, it could be one of the survived ones. The Nightweaver is Namwe's sister, a once worshipped Fey goddess of sleep. She has become a terrifying entity that haunts the nightmares of the Dran. With her dreamlike powers, she feeds on the life force of her victims, leaving them drained and near death.
So many ages wasted. Not your dreams. Rearing them like children, always coddling, never tasting. Oh, you are
Yep. What she got for us?
Oh, I didn't know weak spot makes that. She just went,
Jesus. Mate, but they drop him. We're good.
slam.
Yeah.
I tried to roll off these steps, but it made me jump, so I didn't get the iframes.
Nice.
Oh,
Phase 2?
okay. Oh, fuck that.
Phase 2?
Yeah.
Phase 2?
Yeah.
Oh!
What? Oh,
Shit.
fuck.
Do we need to find her?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't see where she is.
She's right here.
Holy shit, man.
Mate, the Nightweaver is no easy boss by any means. Her phase 1 is tricky to navigate dodges due to the stairs and the gates. She has a nasty one-shot dive attack, and the Yad's phase is prime for burst weak spot damage, but you need to kill the Yads to do it. Phase 2 takes us inside the mansion where she has the ability to climb through walls, floors and ceilings. She has a devastating lunge attack that will kill you if you're not full HP. She can grab you from the walls in one shot. She has gained a drain one-shot ability which restores a quarter of her health. The Yad's phase is still there, but this time she spawns randomly in the mansion, so you need to locate her and clear the Yads to do any damage. Ammunition issues are ever present in phase 2, and to make things worse, she has a thick skin modifier. All you need to know about modifiers right now is that thick skin is one of the worst, giving her defensive buffs and damage reduction. This modifier was so bad that it was actually nerfed on the 10th of August, and we're playing on Nightmare, which is a difficulty designed to only be played once you've completed the game and have decent gear. We are doing this on our first playthrough, but we're close. We can get through phase 1 consistently and we can dodge most of our attacks in phase 2. We just need a clean run where we can make use of damage windows. There are good ad spawns and there are bad ad spawns, and then we get one. Killed it.
Oh!
Huge.
That weak spot damage is so strong, holy fuck.
Can't be good.
A fight that took us 10 minutes of near perfect gameplay to complete was done. A fight with cruel one-shots, a fight with difficult space to use, and our first world boss was quelled. After defeating the Nightweaver, we were teleported into the Labyrinth, one of my favourite places in this game, and Remnant II, and where the main story really kicks off. A desolate and ever-changing realm, the Labyrinth bridges the worlds. With its guardian gone, its current protector struggles to expel the root from the Labyrinth. The realm that was once the balance of everything is now collapsing from the inside, causing major disruptions in other worlds. The Labyrinth is a canon world, meaning nothing will ever change. Every playthrough, it will be the same. The first time we find these circular doors, but one is glowing yellow, yet we have nothing to open it with. We're gonna have to come back to this later. We quickly come across our first mini-boss in the zone, Bastion. He isn't much of anything, with a few melee gravity kind of attacks. We make quick work of him. Next we encounter our first sort of puzzle. I say sorta because it isn't really a puzzle, but you do have to think of it. There's some bait portals that if you jump through, you're just gonna die. We decide to save some time and jump into different ones. I die, but someone else lands on the way to go. We locate the cipher rod a little further in, and this red glitchy door. And it's only now that when I'm editing this, I realized we didn't actually open this door. So yeah, you aren't gonna see this again. This is the start and end of this door. Next up, we encounter our first fog gate in the labyrinth. But thankfully all my copium seems to have run out, and this one is actually a survival wave. We die the first time, and the second, but on the third attempt we get through it. The spherical stone mass in the middle starts to explode. We gain an AoE trait and the master portal key. We head back to the start and throw in the portal key, which unlocks this giant portal in front of us. We head through and meet what I guess is the world boss of this zone. the Labyrinth Sentinel. Honestly, it's a very cool and interesting fight. It's a lot of fun. You basically have to shoot all the glowing cubes on the sides of the larger cubes. They move around in set patterns and you can hide inside that you block off. Oh my god. Whoa!
Oh
Whoa!
boy.
Whoa!
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It took us a few attempts, but eventually we get it. Oh, I see it. I see it.
Christ.
As we enter the heart of the labyrinth, we meet this giant eyeball known as the Keeper, who initially tries to kill us, but as it turns out, Clementine's here and she stops him. We learn that the Keeper is the entity who absorbed Clementine into the World Stone back at Ward 13 at the beginning. After a very American Hollywood kind of movie script cutscene, we show Clementine the cipher rod we picked up. The Keeper explains that there are these anomalies all around the world and that the system is going to collapse. The cipher rod has changed the outcome from guaranteed destruction to a 1 in 3 chance that we can annihilate the root and save the worlds. We are now tasked with finding more cipher rods through the rest of the worlds. We are given a new key which lets us teleport into our second world. We head back to the glowing yellow door from the beginning and head to our next world. The second world we got was Yeisha, a once thriving jungle kingdom, one of the worlds significantly impacted by the curse of the root. The root's tendrils have taken hold of Yeisha since a human last set foot on the world. The citizens of Yeisha have attempted to stem the tide, fighting back against the unrelenting forces of the root, but this has proven futile. In this playthrough, we rode the Doe and the Ravager storyline. The first thing we came across in Yeisha was an altar, which after collecting enough Blood Moon Essence lets you buy things, including the Summoner archetype. After going further in, we enter our first dungeon, and the first challenge of Yeisha, a survival course. There are arrows firing in a pattern with objects to climb over and under while dodging the arrows.
Keep going, Scarlet. Keep going. Keep going. Ah, yeah.
I watch my friends go first, and then use host advantage to clear the first path. I pick them up and we proceed through the second, where I roll into the third lane and get taken up by the arrows. I again watch my friends die and use host advantage to clear the third and final lane.
I'm pretty sure you got hit by one of them, mate.
Yeah, so am
I don't know how I feel about that.
A little deeper in, we come across these strange symbols above corpses, and think nothing of it at the time. We find a book with a strange symbol on it, and nothing else. This will probably be useful later. Scarlet somehow manages to just magically know where to go here.
I think Scarlet's been watching gameplay. How many
Of course he
rounds?
has. I swear to God, if you've just watched a fucking video, I'm gonna be so mad. So we follow him, which takes us straight into a boss fight, where both the modifiers and the arena are working against us.
Oh shit!
Oh boy.
I really don't know what
This is melee time, mate.
Mate, what the fuck? We res up and try going the other way, where we are instantly met with elites and just get taken out. Back to the boss we go. The boss has the Vortex modifier, which if you haven't realized by now, when you aim it sucks you in. We're also in deep water here, where our movement is grossly hindered, and he has a Vicious modifier, which increases his attack. Not only that, but because we're in water, we don't get a down stage. It's instant death. We try and try and try, but we just aren't getting anywhere. This arena and the modifiers are too in his favor, so we have the genius idea to lure him up the stairs and fight him where it's more balanced. Ironically this time, the boss also decides to give us a handicap because we suck so much, and waits for us. When the fight is evenly balanced, he is a joke. We take him down without even breaking a sweat, but this wouldn't be a boss fight without a phase 2. A second boss falls down from the ceiling and we have to fight him now.
I'm here.
He isn't anything special and we quickly whittle him down, but at a quarter of his health, the head separates from the body and flies away. It's still targetable. We get the head down to a sliver of health, but quite literally, none of us have ammo left due to the back-to-back phases and no ammo drops from the heads. Boss heals to full, the fight starts again, except this time, we have no ammo. How do we...
You're gonna melee him, mate.
So melee him, we do.
I'm gonna hold on.
Wait,
Oh yeah.
let's go.
Oh yeah. We have no relics.
We can't. The dog's hitting him through the fucking door.
Oh, that's a good way to open the door.
Wait, what? We head back and discover this strange object with a locked door behind it, decorated with symbols on the rim. Our first puzzle of Yeisha. So the marks are here, but like, where do they start? How many rows are there?
Boy.
4.
Red diamond with mountain above it and below it.
What? Red diamond with mountain above and below. I'm not convinced it's in this book, mate. I feel like this is just lore.
But what's the icon there for, man?
I don't know. It
Oh
feels...
wait, the icon's on the sheets that they're sleeping in. Okay, so it's tower, pot.
Oh, you're looking for the red one, yeah. This one's like a tower with 2 T's sticking out of the top.
Yeah, that's the rook, mate. Tower, pot, eye toy. That was
Right? The fucking
Tower.
portal guy. Then you got the little robot-looking thing, and there's gotta be one more somewhere. It's like the Pokemon-looking Pokeball.
Isn't that the webcam?
Webcam.
It's the Pokeball, mate.
Ah, fuck!
Looks like a Pokeball.
It's a webcam. It's an eye toy. It's a Kinect camera. Come on, man. What is it?
It's the
Screenshot it.
Pokeball.
Screenshot it. It's definitely the webcam that you're looking at right now.
What one have you put in?
I've put in this one and this one over here.
It is this one.
Okay, actual book.
After putting in all the symbols correctly, the door unlocks and we can advance straight into another assault course where the wager is death. Whoa, what the f- This time we have 2 big circular saws moving up and down in almost perfect sync until they fall into where they should be, and several smaller saws along the side forcing you to run through the middle and dodge the big saws. Again I watch my friends attempt and die, while I study the blade and prepare my attempt. The first time I run too close to the edge and get taken out by a smaller saw, but the handler class comes in clutch and I get another go. I nearly make it to the end, but after some bad information from my friends where they tell me that they switch sides, I get killed. We res up and go again. This time I use my horse advantage and complete the course. We find a chest at the end with some gear in it, and since we all share one brain cell, we all equip it. The next thing we encounter is a jumping puzzle. Being unsure if we could make the jump, we use Scarlet, our lab rat, to see if he can make the jump. He does, so we follow, but on the next jump, he doesn't make it, so it's my turn to become the guinea pig. I make the jump and I land, but the roll unfortunately pushes me off the edge. The final guy alive makes it to the end with jumping, and we soon realize that there is actually an invisible path to walk on, but working it out backwards where you can't see the symbols is a little harder. But who cares, we got the loot. We're done. We then come across this big bird in a nest. When approached, it creates a fierce gust that knocks you back. But wait, I see loot up there. So we try and try and try, but sadly our one shared brain cell just can't work it out. We decide to go do other things, progress the story, and look elsewhere. For whatever weird, strange reason, when we come back, the bird is gone. We didn't do anything, but we get the loot and we move on. The next thing we come across is mini-boss, and I use the word mini-boss very loosely, because this was hard. Yeah.
Boy.
Well, they got shocking displacer.
I've just been fucking womboed.
Oh, mate.
Oh, we're to the bottom.
What? It's a double battle with some fun modifiers. Fixing we've already touched on, he takes less damage. Displacer. This means that the boss will teleport you around at random. Shocking. The boss will cast lightning when near the player. This fight is just pure raw chaos. The displacement is constantly disorientating you. They have ranged and melee attacks. The lightning one-shots you and it can blind your vision. Our fire tornadoes are just adding to the clutter, and there is always an elite enemy in this fight. This is a 3v3 cluster of chaos. We actually removed our fire tornado mod for this just to reduce some visual clutter and took time-lapse in favor of trying to freeze the elites. The next time we get our second handicap in this world, one of the bosses is just roaming about on the upper floor, making it a 1v1 fight.
What is that?
And with that, we were able to put an end to this mayhem and proceed onwards. Unfortunately for us, proceeding onwards means our first fog gate in this world, our first official boss. Considering how difficult the 2 mini-bosses we fought were, what could possibly await us? Shrewd. A gesture to Remnant 1.
Shroud.
Shrewd?
Is it a shroud? I don't believe it. Wait, my frames are so high in here.
Oh.
I'm getting rat flashbacks.
Oh,
Oh, my.
oh.
Just punch.
Whoa! I didn't
He
even.
does damage.
He's got thick skin as well, man. Well, I guess yeah, it is a root.
What is it?
Oh. That phase?
Now my frames are in the shit. Break things, break things, break things. Oh, my ammo is a bit... What a fight.
Shrewd was incredibly easy and we took him down on our second attempt. A bit disappointing considering the difficulty of the mini-bosses prior. Our next encounter is our second puzzle of Yeisha, similar to the music puzzle from Remnant 1. We find this strange musical instrument with Paxel tech playing the song in the distance. The instrument has pegs that can be raised and lowered to strike a sound in that note, and a book with sheet music near the crystal.
Okay, first note.
It's the comma.
Okay, and it's what, 2 beats? What's next?
Right, the next one is the vertical comma with 2 like fidget spinner sides to its left.
Wait. The semicolon or the fidget spinner? Is it uniform or ununiform?
It's the same shape as the first one, but it's flipped. So it's vertical with the thickest part being at the top.
With 1 dot.
With 2 fidget spinners, like 2 parts of a fidget spinner blades.
Okay, it has to be this. Okay, raised.
How many notes are there then?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
10?
6, 7, 8.
Okay, so yeah, it's 1 between those 2.
But 1 space?
One space between those 2, yeah.
Okay, what next?
So the next one is 1 space, and then you put the Sharingan.
The what?
Oh, mate, have you not watched Naruto?
The Triforce.
The Triforce, yeah.
Middle
Okay,
one, the middle one.
Triforce, yeah, okay.
Right, and then immediately next one is the same as the second,
The fidget spinner.
with the comma, yeah. And then the third one is the comma with the 2 tiny dots.
The last
Okay,
one is
that's
the
the
next.
colon. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, what now?
right, try that.
No, it's not work.
No
Let me see.
dice!
Did I do it back to front?
So the
Does it
first...
start at the bottom or does it start at the top?
The first one, it starts at the top. We work it out and place them in, and we're absolutely sure this is correct. So either we didn't get it right, or we just can't do it yet. It's time to move on and come back later. We come across yet another puzzle, and let me tell you, this was fucking hard. This took us around 1.5 hours to complete. Because I think this is this shape. Sun and Moon describe the sky as the firmament beyond. Their winds will tell if tides are high or if the day is dawned. These fragile life must hang below, a puppet on thread. Well, what are the shapes up here? We're looking for sun, which I guess is
I
this.
see sun, yeah. This is the sun.
Sun,
But where is the moon?
moon, I'm guessing is that.
Maybe. Okay.
What is life? Oh, yeah, the sun is the sun. Life is the wind-looking icon. So sun and moon need to be the top 3. So that's sun, and the opposite is moon. And life is this one here. But that is wrong because sun can't be here. And I think it matters where the shape is of the triangle in the wall.
Yeah.
Wait.
So,
Wait, what?
Whatever, man. I take that.
Wait,
What?
He's done it.
Wait,
Sun, moon,
I don't know how it is.
No, it's wrong right now. I did an extra move. So, it's fucking closing. Don't touch
Life.
anything. Don't touch anything, mate.
Are you lost?
I touched it an extra time and the door closed. The door's
It
open.
wasn't you. It was Scarlet that moved in.
I touched it as well.
It's me.
I touched
Sun
it as well.
Sun is here. The two long. Yeah, stop! Don't touch it again.
Yeah, that was it.
After solving one of them, we move 2 levers again and completely ruin it, and spend another 40 minutes trying to work it out again.
I think there's like multiple combinations.
I did it, I opened the door.
Yeah, I think there's more than one solution.
We're doing... oh, okay. So Death, the Greater Transformer, the 4... 2 more even, Scarlet.
Sure? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's because the triangle needs to point northwest, so it's gonna go there on the next one.
Yeah, we opened the door.
Again, we solve the next one, and I move it, and somehow the shared brain cell has just vanished, and we can't trace back our steps to do it again. So we spend another 40 minutes hard stuck on solving the second combination.
Man, Adira was thinking we were gonna be bossing today.
Yeah, this one's tough, man. But it shouldn't be, because this should be correct. But the triangle is in the wrong place.
Fuck.
After whatever amount of time, Scarlet just decides to flip the combination, and that was it. That was it all along. Just flip it. Wait, what? You've done it.
Upside down.
Bug, death. Are you kidding me? It's upside down, yeah. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah!
What?
better be good.
How did we not try this? Our next discovery is our second fog gate, Legion.
It's a 2-0 boss, man. What is this?
Oh, 2 bosses.
What?
I see 2.
They were here.
Mother 2.0.
Oh, they're ants.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit!
There's 2 phases. There's one where it puts madness up, one where it puts madness down. This is madness down, this is madness up. Madness is very good.
What does Madness do?
I think
The Legion fight forces you to juggle a debuff gained by looking at the eye when it glows red, dodging wave attacks that will one-shot, and surviving and managing ammunition through ad phases, and using the arena to time your peaks to control the Madness debuff, which applies a nasty dot. To make this more difficult, the eye floats around the arena, forcing you to look at both the boss's body for the wave animations and the eye for the Madness management. It also fires these little homing balls at you. Like every boss, we die a few times in prog, but eventually we get it. We're doing better this time. Good. Nice. Wasn't too bad. As it turns out, this boss wasn't actually that difficult. It took us a few tries, but we took him out eventually. After leaving the dungeon, we meet the root nexus, thinking it's the exact same as the tree from Remnant 1.
Like,
So I think this, he started a fight. No?
No, this is the heart!
No,
This is what we need.
yeah,
no,
but
no,
don't
no,
hit
no.
it yet. Don't hit it yet.
I feel like it's the tree.
Yeah.
Do you
but
remember from
this is-
Remnant 1? I mean, it's got a health bar.
I think we do just have to kill it.
Alright, hold on. Stack our buffs. Mate, this is taking such little damage. This is with buffs.
There's a lot of bullets. Everything's going to be
Why did I just fucking kamikaze? Hey, Bloodborne! After killing the root nexus because we are bloodthirsty idiots, we enter our last dungeon of Yesha and come across these enemies that only attack when you're looking away.
Oh,
I can't,
this one.
but this one might.
Oh!
Except not that time. After a little struggle, we take them out as a matter of pride and push on. We find a lever in the center of a very large tower with the stairs leading down, and electricity all around us. We yank the lever and quickly realize what this is all about. It's a timed escape with waves of trash to fight through. There are also these purple crystals in the staircase, which when approached would explode in one shot. Death is very easy here. A solo sprint is almost guaranteed demise. To make things worse, the path isn't always straight. The first person to reach the middle is Scarlet, and much like a lab rat during heroin trials who just had his supply cut off, he kills himself. He hasn't watched a YouTube video for this one. As it turns out, in the middle there are 2 hearts you have to destroy which open up the next pathway, where we come to our first Y-split. Our hesitancy is the death of us here. The strat we adopted for this was to kill any visible purple crystals from the top before starting, and have Scott take the front with his electric pistol, Scarlet support him from behind, and I stay behind and cover our backs. This is mostly because Scarlet is the worst aimer. If he wasn't, he'd be in front where we could both poke our long barrels in. After several tries we reach the bottom, wait for the floor to become safe, and clear the time trap. Surprisingly hard, but very fun. Oh, there we go. After clearing the time trial, we end up back at the music puzzle, and with a little bit of adjustment, we get the instrument to play. I'm about to go take a screenshot of the book and just put it in. Yeah, there we go. After 3 days, we have finally put an end to puzzles and dungeons in Yeisha. A bridge is raised and we are able to enter the Ravager's lair. The Ravager was one of the greatest deities of Japan. We, in Remnant 1, left him for dead and the root found its way into it and corrupted it. The Ravager offers us a choice to return to the ash from which we came or become eternal. If we kill the doe, we seal our pact with him, or we can free the doe and attempt to kill him. Needless to say, we freed the doe. And so starts our second world boss.
Actually, no, fuck the deers, man. They one-shot me.
I'm telling you, this deer is the bigger king, man.
Wait, we're gonna fight the deer. It's gonna fuck us up.
That's a giant
Leave us
deer.
here? Piece of shit.
Oh boy. Weak spots on the back. When roly-poly hurts. Get him? Whoa! Whoa! Where's he gone? Oh! I'm dead. Yeah,
So
you gotta get behind the fucking walls for that, I guess. For a world boss, this was stupidly easy. This took us around 20 minutes, an add phase, a hide phase, and a few simple melee dodges. Considering what we had in our first world, this was very, very underwhelming. After defeating the world boss, we head back into the labyrinth and clear our way to the second yellow door, unlocking it and heading into our third world of Remnant. Nerid is a gigantic construct built by the Druzir, a technologically advanced race obsessed with finding other sentient life in the universe. In their quest, they found Ellipsis Tora, a supermassive black hole they believe to hold the answer to the mysteries of life and creation itself. In this world, we rolled the Travel to Ellipsis Tora storyline. When we arrive in Nerid, we find our way to a staircase with covers that opens when approached, and we gain our first key item of the world, the Seeker's Key.
What?
See ya. See ya. A little further in, we meet a robot who tells us to find a tower with a glowing white orb at the top. That shouldn't be hard, right? Except the fact that there's fog everywhere, and if you stand in the fog, it's probably gonna kill you. So that's fun. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. We don't go here. We wander out into the world again and soon find what we think is the tower. But we get distracted by a dungeon in which we find a door that we have no key to. We're gonna have to come back to this later. The elites of this world have us puzzled and wipe us out, but in the process we learn how to defeat them. There's a metal plate on the side, and if you blow it off, their weak spot is exposed. Everything else is armored. We pick up the stasis pod glyph and venture on. We soon come across, conveniently, 3 pods.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Bye. Wait. Don't go in. Don't go in.
Can you get out?
No.
You know what this is, mate, so what is it?
No, I don't know.
Can you get out?
No, mate, I fucking can't.
Yeah. Since neither of them can get out, the only thing left to do is for me to get in.
Mate, I'm in Scarlet's lap. Fuck off, Scarlet.
And it's a boss! Our first mini-boss of this world. He's nothing special. With a hardy, drain, and minions modifier, we take him down and move on.
Easy.
We head back to the door and use the stasis pod glyph to unlock it. Inside, we find a brand new armor set, and since the shared brain cell has been found, we all equip it. Again. At this point everyone is running 2 archetypes but me. Scarlet is running Hunter as his second, and Scott is taking Challenger. We head back to Yeisha to do some Blood Moon farming so I can unlock Summoner. We grab my second archetype and head back to Narud. We finally get to the big tower and use the Seeker's Key, which does nothing. I guess we need more. We proceed on and meet our first fog gate, Primogenitor.
It's alien, mate.
Me too.
Lies.
Talk.
Fucking kill it!
Interesting boss.
What can I say about this besides bugs and an annoying ad-focused fight? We take it down with no issues and grab our second Seeker's Key at the end of the dungeon. As we head further in, we find a door that needs a key. Honestly, I've watched the VODs, I've studied up on this item, I have zero clue where or who found this item. There was no pop-up in the VODs. The item we're using is the error glyph, which is picked up beside a dead body, but I can't find it. So yeah, we're using that to unlock the door, just pretend I showed it.
Oh, it's these things.
Oh, it's another boss. Where?
I can't see it. Okay.
Oh, he's here. We meet our second mini-boss, the Progeny. Again, he's also a bit of a joke and gets taken down by the 3 special needs children in matching outfits. We go back to throw our second Seeker's Key into the door and huff up all the copium, but there isn't enough. I ran out in the labyrinth. We need more. Keys and copium. We find an override pin at the end of a dungeon and jump into our second fog gate. This one's sort of almost a time trial. There are these doors that unlock after a certain time, allowing you to proceed deeper in. And in the meantime you have to survive countless waves of trash throwing themselves at you. The first door opens and we head through.
Oh, of course.
You can jump. Where again the same scenario plays out. Locked door, adds, waiting. The second door opens and we're through to this open area where you just clear some mobs and you've completed it. Yet again, we run into a door that we can't open. I'm starting to see a pattern here. If you haven't realized yet, Scarlet is really bad at taking the lifts with us. He either dies or just misses it. So as punishment for him costing us about a minute of standing around waiting, we kill him so we can enter the next dungeon and gain back some of that time.
In a good way, not in a bad way. Ouch! Ah! Oh fuck you.
Spectrum Nexus. The first one we meet here is a lovely flying elite with a room designed for him to have the upper hand. He keeps leaving and coming back, so we decide to just ditch him like we ditched Scarlet. At the bottom we find this very strange black fog looking thing and gets sucked into a mini-boss. Oh, okay. Wait, what is this? Is this a friendly shield?
It's a phase 2, right? There's no way. You're kidding.
Mini-boss. This one is no different to the other two in this world so far, and we kill him pretty quickly. Immediately upon leaving, we find out that Elite Scarlet isn't so happy about us ditching.
Boys.
What?
This is the elite that we left. It's come back for us.
We kill him and move on. Summoner might be a pretty cool class, but man, it can be real annoying at times. Oh, you stupid fucking minion! Oh, we're dead.
Get breakdowns! Stop.
Look when that kills you.
You killed me. You fuck.
After another Scarlet Lift disaster, we encounter our next Fog Gate, and the second wall in this playthrough.
I don't know what it is.
Survive? Probably.
Our first real boss of Nerud, the Custodian's Eye. This is definitely one of the harder bosses we fought. Looks pretty simple, right? Floating eyeball with a weak spot in the center? Wrong. The Custodian fires a purple laser that follows the player around and summons smaller eyeball lads that you need to kill and collect ammo from, because once again, ammo issues are ever present. He controls the arena at will, raises and lowers the platforms and hits you with a sweeping red beam either high or low. This is a one-shot skill. His phase 2 has all the central platforms fall down, leaving some remaining on the edges. The lower platforms have to face landmine tiles while looking up at the boss. You generally do no damage here since we're trying to dodge the mines and can't both look up and down simultaneously. The upper platforms force you to rotate and jump on the edges to avoid his 3 one-shot lasers slowly rotating around the arena. Phase 3. Again, the platforms drop and create a ladder effect, with the center being the deepest. He positions in the middle and shoots 4 blue lasers that follow the player around. You have to kite the lasers and look up to deal damage while trying not to fall into the center, which is almost guaranteed death. Phase 4. His eye glows blue and he fires little blue homing projectiles at you, a one-shot if you get hit. This is no easy fight, and to make things worse, we're a player down because Remnant II certainly has no performance issues.
I just crashed.
Yeah, you have. This is now a 2v1 and it's not looking good, but with games, we get it. After taking down the Custodian's Eye, we advance to grab our third and final Seeker's Key, head back to the glowing tower and put it in. The giant door in front of us unlocks and we advance into the Sentinel's Keep, where our final Foggate of Nerud awaits us. I promise this will make sense in a minute. The Custodian is an advisor and protector of the planet Nerud. The Custodian knows there is no future in this universe, and begs you to kill the planet's guardian. So Nerud can be plunged into the supermassive black hole in hopes of a new universe and life for the planet. Since the Custodian is only an advisor, he cannot take control of the planet. An override key is needed. A Guardian's role is to expel all foreign life from the planet. They are protectors of any foreign matter, and also the reason why Nerud has no root. Which brings us to the world boss, Shahala the Guardian. A ghost preventing Nerud destroying Nerud, and also preventing Nerud from saving itself. This Guardian was again another wall for us to climb. His attack patterns were difficult and more or less everything was a one-shot. Not only that, but the damage we deal to him is abysmal, or he has a massive HP pool. The first attack he does is with his hand lasers. He spawns 6 hands that fire 3 lasers facing inwards, and then moving outwards with a slight delay for each one. At first we tried to cheese this attack by using the shield mod. This worked for some time, but the shield placement was too inconsistent to be considered a strategy. We have to learn the dodges. The boss will also spawn hands that fire lasers dividing the arena into lanes. If you get hit by a laser, it's a one-shot here. And spawn hands in the lanes which fire waves of 3x3 ice cubes at you. These are AoE and will one-shot. He shoots them 3 times. He will follow up with several more of the ice cube hands and fire those off, forcing you to dodge more slowly moving projectiles. The next attack in his arsenal is to fire lasers and divide the arena into lanes again. At the same time, he fires purple homing orbs at you in burst mode, while one red laser moves from left to right along the floor and back again, gradually gaining speed. After getting into about half, you push him into phase 2. There is a small window to recover, res, and refill on ammo here. Immediately after, he does a somersault into the arena center, firing big red lasers with his hands and ice cubes to dodge. This is followed by him going to one side and summoning a black hole that sucks you inwards to his giant laser. He slowly moves to the other side while you fight gentle suction and dodge more ice cubes. The next attack is a hand slam to the center, in which a much stronger black hole is summoned. Again, you fight the giant suction power, but this time have to dodge ice cubes coming out of the black hole. His final attack is to release his orb into the sky and shoot random moving lasers across the platform. A very difficult move to dodge. This was an incredibly difficult fight to do, but Scott's gotta make up for missing a fight, and apparently Scarlet is tagged out with him. Fucking finally! Yeah, that's a world boss. And with that, the route is saved, or so we hope. The override pin was inserted, letting the custodian take control of the planet and plunge the world into the black hole in search of paradise and safety. Except that isn't what happened. The Guardian holds a star in his hand, and during the fight with us he was unable to keep the star in control. After defeating him, the star grows unstable and eventually explodes, destroying the planet and us. We are resurrected back at Ward 13 and can never again enter that world in this playthrough. We head back into the labyrinth with our new cipher rod, where an anomaly explains the index holds two new possibilities. One where we win, and the other one. It explains that the root stems from a single world, but when the world became infected, the door to the world closed, even in the labyrinth. But now, one is open. And so we enter our final world, the Root Earth, to expel the root once and for all. The Root Earth is an alternative version of Earth that's been completely overrun by the Root. This is the final world in Remnant II, and the location of the source of the Root. The Root Earth is a canon world, meaning there are no missed bosses, puzzles, or dungeons on this planet. The first thing that's worth mentioning in this world is our first boss fight, Cancer. Cancer.
Why are these stalks
Oh shit, that's a lot of trees.
doing?
Oh,
Oh, it's
a red wave. What the fuck?
Cancer is the first root entity of Root Earth. He utilizes the wide arena with his movesets. He uses his arm to spawn bush-looking things that will one-shot you if you get hit by it. He does this either using it as an AoE arena-wide attack where they spawn at random, or by using his arm to perform a cleave in which they form a conal AoE in the direction of the target. He also has the standard 3-part melee attack like every boss in this game, swing, swing, dive. The next major attack is when he jumps. He creates a shockwave that one-shots if hit, followed by his bush tendrils again. This can be difficult sometimes because he jumps but barely moves, which throws you off, or if he jumps behind while you're looking and lands closely. An interesting move he has is glitch indicator. He will start his 1-2-3 swing but glitch out beforehand. Freeze in place, then move an attack with a swing and a dive. The 1-2-3, but the 1 is skipped for a delay. And finally his phase 2, where quite really nothing changes except the trees now move around and are permanently pumping out small AoEs that will one-shot. We didn't really struggle with this boss, except that we did. Hearty and Thick Skin, the two worst modifiers in the game. Hearty, the boss has an increased health and defense. Thick Skin, the boss takes less damage and less weak spot damage. So to summarize, this boss has an increased health pool, 2 defensive buffs, and a weak spot defensive buff. We are doing no damage to this thing, but we persevere on, and we kill it. Random 3-part attack. That's pretty cringe. We move on and run into these funky elites, and this is where the jank comes in. These elites have the ability to scream and CC you for somewhere in the region of 3 to 5 seconds, and when aggroed, they will spawn smaller ads to come charging at you. There's 2 of them. They are back-to-back CCing, and the ads just zoom in and take us out. We decide to just balls to the walls it and charge in because there's no chance we're killing it in this crevice, which to our surprise actually works. And then we run into our second set of elites. Again 2 walker creatures, Scarlet dies, Scott runs ahead, and I am left to try and clean up these elites 1v3. We progress through Rude Earth a bit more and we run into Venom, our second boss of this world. Empathy and Thick Skin. Empathy basically just means that when you heal, the boss also gets a heal. Venom itself is not a fight designed for multiplayer, with a weak spot only on the front, or if you're lucky enough to have an angle, you can maybe get it from underneath him. His back is totally armored. It's a very cool melee fight if you're the one holding aggro. He has a 2-part melee / AoE attack indicated by this red glow, and a slow expanding cleave attack that goes wider than you might think. Also has a 3-part swing dive attack, which can be a little tricky since the dive is one of 3 possible patterns, and his black shroud makes it difficult to see what animation he's winding up. He also has a one-shot dive similar to Nightweaver from Phase 1, and frustratingly, sometimes he shields his weak spot. In Phase 2 he gets his big white mechanic, these red lasers. They spawn randomly on players' positions, go off, and then spawn again. They spawn a total of I think 5 times each. This really isn't a fight designed for multiplayer, but it was still pretty alright. We kill him and we approach the very final boss of the game. We get stuck at a red glass wall that we can't push open, so because we're America cops, we decide the only thing left to do is to shoot it. That is, until the hippie girl tells us to wait and blast it with her superhuman powers. Annihilation. The final boss of Remnant and the root corruption source. The physical embodiment of the root. This fight has 3 distinct phases. The first thing is that he summons these little orbs, which if not taken care of will home in on you and take you down. The next attack he has is a sword slam. He simply just slams down his sword at the player and hitting for AoE. He can prepare his sword by his side and dive at you, swinging as he does. Immediately after he will follow up with a hand slam which creates a shockwave similar to Kansas. This is also a one-shot. He can summon these blight puddles which CC you until you mash E enough to break free. They apply a small dot. After killing Phase 1 and huffing the copium that it's over, we get a cutscene that takes us into Phase 2.
Okay, his double hand slam when he goes above his head is instant. The other ones are delayed. Wait for the second swing back on his swords.
Yeah.
Like he'll swing and place it, and then he'll swing and hit it.
Yeah, I know, it's big.
Yeah.
His Phase 2 is wild. His attack speed goes up and nearly everything is a one-shot here. The speed of his attacks mean that there is no room for reses. If someone goes down, they're dying. He summons a sword in the middle and swings it to one side of the arena with his first move, then follows up with another swing from one side of the arena to the other, and summons either vertical cubes or horizontal cubes that fly at the player. Getting hit is a one-shot. The main attack in this phase is his sword and puddles. He will prepare to swing his sword across the arena and throw down puddles, exploding in the order they land. You need to dodge both the sword and the puddles while avoiding the root slam. The part that makes the fight difficult is this.
Where am I?
Oh, nice.
He sent me back to his realm and fucking one-shot me.
After cycling through his mechanics in Phase 2, he will begin to switch back and forth between Phase 1 and 2 at random. Attacks will wind up in one phase, and before it goes off you will switch it to the other, where you are immediately faced with a new attack in this phase. It can be incredibly difficult to work out what attack is being prepared in such a short amount of time. The first switch is always from Phase 2 to 1, and you're forced to face his hand slam shockwave. We tried for the rest of the day, thinking it was the last day of Remnant, but we just couldn't get it. So with our heads hung low, we head back to do some farming. The world level here is 16. Scott is 18, Scarlet 16, and I am 15, meaning that I am undergeared by 1 power level. We haven't even encountered any hardened iron yet, so we head back to do some scrap farming and run through some adventure mode, and then we come back. At this point in the fight, I am dry on ammo and need to grab some. I see the orb spawn, but we have 3 Enigmas. Surely 2 of them can handle it. But what I didn't account for was Scarlet being on the other side of the map sniffing his arse sweat, and 6 of the 8 orbs to come flying at me. I go down here, and I've already used my dog res. I've res 3 times in this fight already. Surely someone can get me, right? Scarlet runs over, but there's no time. It's a phase change, and instead of dodging the attacks, he gets hit by all of them. And 2 goes down. There is no longer a hope of res, and we both die, meaning that Scott has to finish the last of his HP. And he does. After killing it, the Keeper appears mid-battle and tells us that this is all a waste of time. The option for containing the root corruption is no longer. The root will just continue to heal and fight again. The only option is death, a hard reset of the planet. Clementine again goes hippie mode and yanks the index weapon, and once again uses her crystal healing powers to absorb the life force of the universe, acting as a bookmark in the Book of Life, a reset with a point in time mark. The Annihilation restores itself, and so begins Phase 3, where the only objective is to survive long enough for Clementine to destroy the world.
Literally go fuck yourself.
And destroy the world, she does.
I have a weird question.
You
That's
always
fine.
have weird shit to say.
Weird question, not weird to say. Anyway, let's ignore this for a second. Everyone know Russell, he loves Pokemon and he's furry, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Everything
know.
in that statement is true, yeah.
Yeah, even if you have a werewolf custom, you're gonna wear it.
Yeah. I already own
Okay.
like 4, but yeah.
I didn't know this until now. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Okay.
It's pretty wild.
Okay. You know Five Nights at Freddy's, right?
Yeah.
If I found it like errative. Errative? Is that the word?
Erotic?
Not erratic.
Erratic?
Attractive?
Yes, the word what Scott said.
Right.
Okay. Does that mean I'm a furry? That's my question. I
What
mean,
attractive you say dress up as Spider-Man?
you know Chica, right? You know Chica.
No, I don't.
I don't know if I want to hear the rest of this.
Is he about to tell us that he's got a kink for animatronics?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Charlotte.
What?
Like, I know this is a safe space, maybe you're taking it a bit too comfy.
What?
Uh,
I'm just asking a question. That's all.
yeah, just asking for a mate.
Yeah, I'm asking to know myself.
Asking for a friend, man.
No, not for a friend. I'm not lying. I'm asking for myself. You know, to find
Yeah,
myself.
this is some real closeted
So
furry shit.
I need guide from you.
Guide for what?
To know myself.
To know yourself.
Yes. Oh no.